Right now, as you're watching this, an algorithm could be deciding if you get a loan, a mortgage, or even the cash to start your dream business. AI is totally rewriting the rules of finance. It's promising to make decisions faster, smarter, and way more accurately. But as AI becomes this new gatekeeper to our financial lives, a huge, fascinating paradox is starting to take shape.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll dig into that promise and the paradox it creates. Then we're going to peek inside the infamous black box of these algorithms. After that, we'll talk about the human factor, the stuff technology just can't replace. We'll see how regulators are sprinting to keep up, and finally, look at what the future could be, a future built on collaboration.
All right, first up, the big tension here. On one hand, AI offers this incredible, almost unbelievable power and efficiency. But on the other hand, for the people who are actually on the front lines, the credit analysts, it's creating a whole new universe of problems. I mean, just look at the before and after. In the then column, you had the old way of doing things. It was slow, it was manual, it was totally dependent on old data, and yeah, it was definitely prone to human bias. Now look at the now column. We've got these lightning-fast automated systems that are analyzing just massive amounts of real-time data. On paper, it looks like a completely flawless upgrade, right? So that brings us to the billion-dollar question. If the tech is so much better, why are the actual experts, the people on the inside, so incredibly worried?
This framework here really helps us understand the hidden forces that are going on. See, on the left, you've got these institutional pressures. We're talking about pressure from professional norms, the way we've always done things, pressure from regulators, and, of course, pressure from competitors. And all of that, as you see on the right, creates these very real, very tough barriers to actually using AI effectively. This is basically our roadmap for the next few minutes.
Let's start with the biggest technical hurdle of them all, the black box. I mean, what happens when a machine spits out an answer, but it can't tell you how it got there? Well, that's the massive challenge of transparency. And this brings us to a really key concept called algorithmic opacity. It's just a fancy term for that black box problem. The best way to think about it is like a magic calculator. It always gives you the right answer, but it completely refuses to show its work. And in the world of finance, not being able to show your work, that's a total deal breaker. And believe me, this isn't just a theory. A credit analyst, someone on the front lines, put it perfectly. They said, sometimes when AI denies a loan, we cannot explain the rationale for that decision. Can you just imagine being the person who has to tell a hopeful entrepreneur no, but you literally can't tell them why? And here's the bottom line. The entire financial system is built on one thing, trust. And when you can't explain the why behind a decision, that trust just completely collapses. It breaks down with your client, it breaks down with the regulators, and it breaks down all the way up the chain. But here's the good news. The industry is fighting back against this opacity. They are not just sitting around. They are investing a ton of money into something called explainable AI. These are tools designed specifically to shine a light into that black box. They're building new guidelines, creating audit frameworks, all in a mad dash to make this technology trustworthy. Okay, but this whole thing isn't just about code and algorithms. It's also about people. The other, and maybe even bigger half of this story is about culture, skills, and the very real, very human fear that comes with this kind of massive change. See, adopting AI isn't as easy as just installing new software. It runs smack into a wall of human resistance. You've got fear, the fear of being replaced, the fear of losing your autonomy. You've got deep mistrust and skepticism of a tool that people don't really understand. And on top of all that, you have a huge skills gap, which just naturally creates resistance to changing the way things have always been done. This analyst really gets to the heart of it. The fear isn't just about being replaced. It's about being made irrelevant. The big worry is that decades of human experience, of intuition, of judgment could all just get tossed aside because an algorithm says so. And this creates a major divide inside these teams. On one side, you've got your veteran analysts who, as one person put it, are skeptical because they don't trust what they don't understand. But then on the other side, you've got these newer, tech-savvy analysts who are ready to jump right in. The result? A massive learning curve and a serious culture clash. So, remember that framework we looked at earlier? This brings us to that regulatory pressure point. Technology moves at the speed of light, but laws, well, they don't. And this has created a really high-stakes race where the rules are struggling to keep up with the code. In a perfect world, AI compliance would be simple.
You just ensure data privacy, keep perfect audit trails, guarantee fairness, and always have a human overseeing things. It looks pretty straightforward on a slide, doesn't it? But the reality on the ground is just chaos. As this manager says, AI tech moves faster than the regulators. We're often unsure what rules apply. They're basically being forced to build the plane while they're flying it, navigating this weird legal gray zone of old laws and brand new vague guidelines. And the hurdles they're facing are just massive. I mean, think about it. You have to follow different data laws in every single country. You have to somehow prove your model isn't just repeating the biases of the past. And you have to keep perfect records of everything. And it all leads to the biggest question of all. When the algorithm gets it wrong, who's to blame? So, okay, we've looked inside the black box, we've talked about the human fears, the regulatory race. Where does all of this leave us? Well, the answer isn't human versus machine, not at all. It's a partnership. The solution that's emerging is to always keep a human in the loop. This analyst over in Sweden just nails the solution. As they say, the AI helps make the decision, but the final decision, that has to be approved by a human. The machine provides the data, the raw processing power, but the human provides the judgment. And this manager here really reinforces that vision. AI is amazing for the grunt work, all those repetitive, data-heavy tasks. And that frees up the human experts to provide the real value, making the complex, nuanced judgment calls that can only come from experience. So, in the end, it really is that simple. The goal here isn't replacement, it's collaboration. And that gives us a really clear path forward. It means we have to put people first when we implement AI. It means we have to absolutely demand those explainable models we talked about. It means forcing the regulators and the tech developers to actually sit down and talk to each other. And finally, it means investing in the training to bring everyone along for the ride. And all of this leaves us with one final, much bigger question that goes way beyond the world of finance. As AI decides more and more of our lives, our loans, our legal cases, even our medical diagnoses, the real question becomes, who decides what's fair?